Hey, what's up, guys? Middleman CEO Shon-Jhon here. Listen, your savings account is very, very dangerous. And so why do I say that? Because most people, when they think about a savings account, they think about, some type of protection, some type of security, some type of hedge, right? And so when you think, typically when a person thinks or talks about a savings account, it's in the mindset of it provides security. It's what I need for a rainy day, in case it rains, whatever that means. It's something I need for an emergency. God forbid you have an emergency. That's why I always say do not manifest things you do not want. Don't ask for emergencies. Don't name your account an emergency account, because that means that account, your emergency account, your rainy day account, cannot be a successful bank account unless it has an emergency or rainy day to respond to or protect you from. Other than that, it cannot be a successful account. Now, let me ask you a couple things really quickly before we dive in. Number one, by the way, hit subscribe, hit thumbs up if you haven't already. This is just a Keep It Real channel about how to change your life, how to change your money mindset, and how to use your phones and ideas to make money. So, by the way, I have a middleman training coming up. If you guys would like to get into the Middleman CEO Live Free Training, put the word middleman in the comments below. I'm going to teach you what I've been doing since 2020. I do not have a job. I do not want a job. I've been doing it since 2020. This takes care of my family and gives us a really good life. If you want to learn how to build a business from your phone, a mobile middleman business where you don't do the work, someone else does the work, you just find the customer and then send the customer to that business. An example is I have a moving service. So what do? I connect customers who need to get moved to actual moving companies, not me. Now, I make a $150 deposit every time I book a customer. I do one a day, make an extra $4,500 a month, right? Now, we do more than one a day, but I'm just saying. So I teach you how to use your phone to pick your own industry and your own location, city you want to launch your business in. And then I teach you how to do three things only. You're going to book customers, take deposits, dispatch the work. Book, deposit, dispatch, and you're done. If you want to learn how to do that, if you might be interested in that, just put the word middleman in the comments below to get that training. So when I think about savings accounts, when I think about business, I'm sorry, not business accounts, but when I think about whenever I had a savings account. By the way, I don't know if you know this, 70% of Americans don't have $5,000 in their savings account. It might even be 80%. I can't check it right now. It's either 70 or 80% of Americans don't have $5,000 in a savings account. So, a couple things. Number one, if you're not, I'm against piling up significant amounts of money in savings accounts anyway. So let's go back. Remember, that account, your emergency rainy day account, cannot be successful unless it actually has an emergency or rainy day. When was the last time, I got some questions for you. Number one, when was the last time you had an emergency or rainy day that you had to pay a significant amount of money right then and there? Hasn't happened in a while, has it? When was the last time you had to shell out $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 same day? Hasn't happened in a while, has it? Because there are other ways, you don't think about this, but there are other ways that you can fund an emergency if you happen to have one, right? Most aren't due the same day anyway. Let's say you have a $5,000 emergency. Okay, you don't have the money, so what happens? You can borrow the money, you can sell something, you can create a business, you can borrow from a friend, you can write I don't know, you can swipe your credit card, you can finance it. There are a bunch of ways that you can get a loan, you can get extra time. I don't have it today, give me a couple weeks. You can grab an extra job for the weekend. There's a bunch of things you can do to fund an emergency whenever you have it. I just want you to think about the last time and ask yourself, when was the last time I actually had an emergency? Right? You probably don't have them much. No one does. So the idea, first of all, who taught us to store money in the bank and wait on bad times to occur? The banks. Well, your parents and your grandparents, but the banks taught them. So the question is, follow the money. Well, why would the bank tell us that? Oh, because the bank's going to use your money to get rich. See, you make the banks richer while you stay poor. And it all starts in the mind. It's just a mindset. hit subscribe, hit thumbs up if you're getting any value from this. I appreciate it. It all starts in the mind. It's just a mindset. So I'll prove to you that the banks are lying to you. Because I need you to know that your savings account, it's trash. I'm telling you, it's trash. It's trash. All right, here, let's rock. So the banks tell you to put money in the banks, right? The banks say save money for a rainy day or emergency. Put your money in the bank, leave it there. We'll watch after it. We'll take care of it. The banks tell you to save money, but the banks don't save money. All right, I'll say it again for the people in the back. The banks tell you to save money, but the banks themselves don't save money. In fact, if the banks save money like you do, the banks would be out of business, which makes you out of business. So when you store your money in the bank accounts, the banks actually take your money and use your money to make more money. That's what the banks do. They use your money to make more money. And banks are really good at this, right? And so as long as they can convince you that hard times are coming, you'll always be terrified. You'll always store money in the bank and leave it there. Now, what happens to the money in the bank? Well, if the banks left it in the bank account, that would be one thing, but they don't. They actually take your money and do what? It's not that they just take your money. We need to know the whole game. The banks take your money and do what? They invest it. Well, they sell it, but they invest it, right? They loan it out. That's an investment. They sell it to someone else. That's the investment. And hopefully this person does well, pays the bank back. The banks takes their cut, put your money back in the account, give you zero amount of money. Couple things. Number one, banks used to pay interest on savings accounts. So actually 10, 20, 30 years ago when your parents or grandparents were putting money in the bank accounts, it was a good idea. You know why? Because the banks actually paid them, rewarded them to do it. Now, let me ask you, how much interest does the bank pay you for your savings account? Zero. So the banks don't pay you any money. So things have changed, right? So, all right, there's a variable. So wait a minute. So my parents and grandparents, they benefited from leaving money in the bank. All of a sudden, the banks don't pay interest anymore. Why? Well, there's a bunch of reasons. I'd like to think that when they figured out they could direct deposit your bank, they didn't have to bargain with you to bring your check. That's just me. And so now the banks are like, look, these people are trained, Pavlov's dogs. These people are trained by the bell to put their money in these banks and leave it there. Hey, John the banker, how many times has someone come to you and asked about interest rates? Rarely ever. Hey, Jamie Diamond, do your customers typically, ask about the interest rates, the returns on their bank accounts? No, not really. Well, let's drop it to zero, right? And because nobody is asking about it anyway, it didn't make a big difference anyway. So the banks decided, we're not going to pay you for your account. We're just going to terrify you into leaving your money in the bank. Because, hey, if you don't have an emergency, if you don't have a rainy day account, God forbid, you don't save up for retirement, that's how they got you in 401k. If you want me to do a video on 401k and give you the real deal, put 401k in the comments. If you want to get that free training for the middleman and learn how to make money, you're sitting there going, Sean, I need to make money without going to work. Show me how to do it. Then put the word middleman in the comments below. As you don't have to have any experience. It's not selling. It's not any of that. I don't sell anything. When customers call us to get a service, they're already calling for that service. That's like people like, what do you do? I sell cars. Really? Okay, is it sales? Yeah, okay. Well, when people show up at your car lot, are they looking to buy a house? No, they're looking to buy a car, right? Right. So I don't understand why you have to sell. They're already there. All you have to do is just persuade them. That's not selling. Hey, you're already here because you want to buy a car. So what car you like, right? And then all right. So now I can get into that. So, and by the way, I appreciate all the new subscribers we've gotten. The channel is, by my standards, blowing up, right? So we're over, I think we're over 2,000, which is awesome for me because I didn't know if anybody would want to hear this, right? Everybody's so preconditioned to do what mom and dad taught them to do. Not that they didn't have your best interests in mind. Of course they did. But the rules that they lived by, no longer apply to you. I need to do a whole entire video breakdown on that. And again, for for these folks that are just piling money into bank accounts, let me ask you, how much money are you piling into your bank account? Here's another question. What does that money do for you? Let's say you pile, I don't know, $10,000 in the bank. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you had a $10,000 emergency? All right. So now that we know we're not probably going to have a $10,000 emergency, now that gives you some flexibility. Flexibility to do what? Well, first thing is change the name of that account from an emergency account, because we don't want to manifest that, from a rainy day account. We certainly do not want rainy days, to a what? An opportunity account. Now it's an opportunity account. Just change the name, it'll change the game. Now you have an opportunity account. So now what are you looking for? You're no longer looking for rainy days to be successful. That account's no longer looking for emergencies to be successful. What are you seeking out? Opportunities. Now your mind is set on, hey, where's that next opportunity come from so I can get involved? So I have an opportunity account. I don't have a savings. I don't have an emergency. I don't have a rainy day. It's an opportunity account. So what does that mean? Well, let's say you have $10,000 in the account. It's just an example. Instead of leaving it there, because if hard times do come, it could bankrupt you to zero, and that account will not replenish itself. You'll have to go back to work. A better idea, because I can hear you guys now, you're talking about, hey, if something happens and I lose my job or anything, first of all, you're going to lose your job. But if something happens, Sean, and I lose it, I could be able to pay my bills for a month or two. Okay, I just told you, 70-80% of America don't have a significant amount of money in the account, right? If 70% of America don't have $5,000, that just say 70% do, right? So now you're at what? 2 months max of paying your bills? A month? You've been saving that hard all that time just to be able to pay your bills for 30 days? And I get it, it'll help. But my point is, here's a better idea. Why? Because I've done this. I've saved money, lost my job, blown through the cash reserve, end up homeless. Because there's no guarantee. You guys got to read these comments. There's no guarantee that you'll find a job again if you lose your job. There's no guarantee you'll find a job that's going to compensate you fairly. There's no guarantee you're going to find a job quickly. There are no guarantees. I have people in my comments that are saying, hey, look, I had a job, lost it, make way less now. There are no guarantees in this world. Please understand that, right? Well, there's one. You're not going to be here forever. That's a guarantee. And when you learn that, you'll speed up your life and your mind so you can get things done and enjoy life. And so, to wrap, you save your money in a bank account. The banks don't save money. I dare you to change it to an opportunity account. A better idea would be, if you have 10 grand in the account, just say 10 grand. And you're like, I'm going to leave it there in case something bad happens. Listen, that money sitting in the bank account does nothing for you. Zero for you does everything to bank. You continue to stay poor. The banks use it. They loan it, sell it to get rich. It's an asset for them to send out. You're giving them free product to sell. They're selling your money and you give it to them for free. You donate it. You just drop it off and don't think twice. And they know they've trained you well, conditioned you well, so you won't come back and ask for your money. In fact, if you do go back to the bank today and ask for $10,000, they're probably going to tell you come back tomorrow, because they don't even have your money. They're not required to have your money. There's something called fractional reserve, where banks are allowed the banks are only required to save a fraction of what you put in there. So if you put $1,000 in, they're only required to hold on to 100 if their fractional reserve rate is 10, right? So they only hold, that's why it's called fractional reserve. You only have to reserve a fraction of the deposit. By the way, when you give it to the bank, you put it into the bank, it's no longer your money. You guys heard of bailouts. There's this thing called a bail-in, where the banks can use your money to pay their bills and pay you back last. I'm just saying, there's a lot of things you don't know about banking. They should be teaching this in schools. I'm going to teach it to my kids, right? So the banks use your money to make money. So all I'm saying is, hey, why not do what the banks do and not what they tell you to do? Because they don't do what they tell you to do. The banks are in business to make money, right? You keep funding them without charge, and they use your money to make money. Well, why not play the game they play? Because your savings account is trash. Okay, you have 100 grand in the bank. What does that do for you? Nothing. Exactly. You can look at it on your app, and that's not real. That's just numbers on the app. That money's not there. They loaned that out as quickly as they got it, right? But what is money sitting in a bank account? Let's say hypothetically it is there when it's not, but let's just say it is. What does money in a bank account do for you? Nothing. You still haven't figured out that money is a tool. It's only good if you use it. It's only useful when it's used. Money is just a tool. It took me a long time to understand that. Somebody put that in my head and I was like, what? It's like, well, yeah, why are you, you're not using the money. Why work that hard just to save money? I was like, what? I never thought about that. So now I share all these things with you. Again, these are just things I've learned. I'm nobody special. I was poor, homeless. I've been homeless 3 times. I'm just teaching you what I've learned. So you don't have to go through what I've gone through. Wouldn't it be nice if people show up and say, hey, don't go that way. The road is out. Right? Hey, don't go that way. That's a dead end. You're like, you know what? Bet. Not wasting my time that way. Well, how much time do we waste piling money in a bank account that does nothing for us? 0% interest. 0. 0.0001. Okay, fine. But the banks use the money. My advice to you is to use the money the way they do. You don't have to loan it out, but put it into something that could potentially become an asset and create cash flow for you. An example would be, now I don't do this, but I have friends who do like vending machines. Instead of sitting on 10 grand in the bank and just leaving it there, why not go get 1,000? Get a vending machine, place a vending machine, put it in a spot, and let your money, use your money to get an asset. That's the vending machine. Let the asset produce cash flow. That's the money the vending machine makes each month. And then learn to do that over and over. Acquire assets that produce cash flow. That's all the bank does. You can do the same thing you can do what the banks do. Take a little bit of the money. Start a middleman business like me. Do it from your phone. Let your business grow and make you a bunch of money. Same thing. That's a better idea than sitting money in the bank account. You know what it is? A bank account is a graveyard. It's a place where money goes to die. Because money, you still haven't figured out that money is a tool and it's only useful when it's used. If you just sit it there and look at it, it's worthless. It's the same as being broke. Oh, you're broke. You're broke here. You think that money in the account makes you it prevents you from being broke. No, you're fundamentally broke. You still haven't figured out that that's dead money, and money in a bank account does nothing for you until you figure that out and say, wait a minute. So a better idea would be take some of the money out of the account. Don't have to go to zero, but start learning to use the money to make more money. That way, if an emergency or something happens, you have cash flow. That way, if a rainy day occurs, you have cash flow. That way, if you lose your job and your bills need to be paid, you have cash flow from the asset. So you might look back in a year and go, you know what? I listened to this crazy dude on YouTube, and he said this a year ago. This dude said, start taking some of the money out of the account and start putting it into projects or ideas or assets that could potentially make you some cash flow. And guess what I did? I used some of the money and I got a vending machine. And you don't have to get a vending machine, just an easy example everybody can relate to. I used the money and I got a vending machine. And that thing makes me $500 a month. And so I did it again. So now I have 5 vending machines. They make me $500 a month each. That's $2,500 a month. That's not 6 figures. That's not $1 million. It's not going to make you rich. But you're learning how to make money. You're changing your mind. You're changing your mindset, flipping your fundamentals. You're learning how to make money without having to go to work. And so guess what happened? I got fired from my job. You lost your job, James? Yeah, I lost my job. They let me go after all these years, man. They said they wouldn't let me go. They promised. I should have known something was up when they brought in that efficiency department. Yeah, they cut us and we were out of there. They gave me a little bit of a severance, but it wasn't enough. And oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that. No. Don't be sorry. See, I listened to this guy on YouTube a year ago, and he told me that no job is safe and I need to always be prepared to lose my job. Well, how do I do that? He said I needed to have another source of income. So I took his advice. He also said, hey, take money out of the bank account and use it to get that other source of income. So I took this guy's advice and I got a couple vending machines. And guess what? The vending machines today still make enough money for me to pay my bills. So don't cry for me. In fact, I'm happy today. I'm excited today. Why? Because I've learned how to make money without having to go to work. My vending machines continue to make me money. My middleman business, small investment. Now I got a middleman business that makes me money all over the city, even when I'm not, even without me having to go to work, even when I'm sleeping, even when I'm on the beach, even when I'm recording YouTube videos, my middleman business works. Yeah, this dude told me to invest. I invested in the middleman business, use my phone to book customers for other companies, send the work to them, keep the deposit for myself. I learned to do that. And now that I'm fired, see, I knew this day was coming. He told me not to trust my company. So now that I'm fired, I don't care. They just gave me more freedom. In fact, I was this close to quitting anyway, because now I know how to make money without needing a job. Well, James, I'm so sorry. No. Don't be sad for me. I'm in a great position. I'm in love with this new life. I'm loving life, enjoying life. My family's happy. I'm happy. We got cash flow. Guess what? Well, James, I know this company that's hiring. No. With your skills and yours, no. You don't understand. I'm not looking for a job. I'm free, and I never want to go back to being a full-time employee again. I hope this video blesses you. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. Drop your opinions. Drop your comments. Drop your stories. I appreciate it. Your testimonies. I appreciate it. If you want to get into the Middleman CEO training and learn how to use your phone to book, deposit, dispatch, all you have to do is put the word middleman in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Peace.